Good morning, class. I will be discussing about since we have finished module 8, we will continue to module 9, which discusses the right to liberty and privacy, warrantless arrests, searches, and seizures. As we all know that as a general rule, searches and seizure is unreasonable, meaning hindi siya pwede unless authorized by valid search warrant or warrant of arrest. When we say valid search warrant, it is not expired. It is issued by the judge. When you say valid warrant of arrest, it is issued by the judge. It is within the jurisdiction of that person. So, dapat ina-arrest lang natin yung tao na nakalagay doon sa warrant of arrest. And as to search warrant, it should be the place indicated in the search warrant, the thing indicated in the search warrant. Okay? The plain import of language of the Constitution prohibits unreasonable search and seizure. Ibig sabihin, pinagbabawal niya talaga. That's why it is protected. So, hindi pwedeng basta-basta ka lang mag-search kapag wala kang search warrant. Di ba? Pero, this prohibition or the Constitution only protects the private entity against the government, not the private entity against the private entity as well. So, parang inulit lang to yung topic natin the last time. So, with regard to invalid warrantless arrest, the invalidity of an arrest leads to the several consequences, among which are the failure to acquire jurisdiction over the person of the accused. Sabihin, kapag ikaw ay walang warrant of arrest, so you didn't acquire any jurisdiction over the person of the accused. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng bigyan ng bigyan ng charges. No? Kasi nga wala kang jurisdiction over the person of the accused. Ibig sabihin, anytime, pwede niyang i-quash yung information because there is no jurisdiction over his person. Second, criminal liability of law enforcers for illegal arrests. That is why, as provided under the law, that kapag inaresto mo siya at wala kang warrant of arrest, pwedeng mabigyan or mapatawan ng kaukulang charges ang umaaresto o yung mga pulis for illegal arrest. So, kailangan nila kasi the moment na ma-arrest kayo nila, kailangan makapag-file na agad sila ng complaint. Pero paano nila gagawin yun kung ikaw mismo ay mali na? Kumbaga, hindi tama yung pagkaka-arrest sila. So, having said that, ma-dismiss pa din yung complaint or information against you. Third and last, any search incident to the arrest becomes invalid, thus rendering the evidence acquired as constitutionally inadmissible. Tulad ng binanggit ko kanina, or nung last meeting natin, na anything acquired during an invalid arrest is a fruit of the poisonous tree. A poisonous fruit doesn't have any value. A tree or a poisonous tree cannot bear a good fruit, but rather it only bears a poisonous fruit as well. Ibig sabihin, hindi talaga magmumunga yun ng tama kung mali na ang simula, no? So, are there instances when the arrests and seizures are reasonable even with lack of warrant of arrest? Sabi dito, kung wala nga akong warrant of arrest, pwede ko pa rin ba siyang maging valid kahit na wala akong warrant of arrest? Judicial warrant is not absolute. Over time, this court has recognized jurisprudential exceptions, which or where despite the lack of judicial warrant, the arrest, search, and seizure were held reasonable due due to the circumstances surrounding the cases. So, meron tayong tinatawag na warrantless arrest. Meron tayong tatlo nito. Number one, arrest under Section 5, arrest without warrant when lawful. So, a police officer or a private person may without a warrant arrest a person in the following. Letter A, when in his presence the person to be arrested has committed, actually committing, or is attempting to commit. It is also called in flagrante delicto. Ibig sabihin, at the moment, nakikita mo siya na kinocommit niya yung crime. So, the moment na kinocommit niya yung crime, pwede mo na siyang, alangan naman magpo-procure ka pa ng warrant of arrest or search warrant. And nakita mo na sa harapan mo na nagko-commit na siya ng crime. So, malamang sa malamang, pwede mo na siyang hulihin by the doctrine of in flagrante delicto or the principles of in flagrante delicto. Second is, when an offense has just been committed and he has probable cause to believe based on personal knowledge of facts or circumstances that the person to be arrested has committed. Ito naman ang tinatawag natin na hot pursuit, no? Pag halimbawa, um, habang nakabantay si A, si Police A, may tumatakbong babae, hinahabol niya yung isang lalaki at sumisigaw siya ng rape. So, the moment na nakita niya na sumisigaw ng rape yung babae at hinahabol yung lalaki, there's a reasonable belief, no? A probable cause to believe based on the personal knowledge na nakita ko, tumatakbo siya, the probability that the crime has been committed. And that probability that the one or the person running is the one who committed the crime against the person or the women running against or running after the man. Okay, ibig sabihin, yung probabilidad o posibilidad na baka nga yung lalaki ay ginahasa yung babae na humahabol. Okay? Ang tawag dyan, hot pursuit. Okay? Lastly, when the person to be arrested is a prisoner who has escaped from a penal establishment or a place where he is serving final judgment or in temporary confinement while his case is pending or has escaped while being transferred from one confinement to another. Ibig sabihin, takas. Why? What is the rationale behind this? Because when you evade your sentence, you are continuously committing a crime. It is a continuing crime, no? So, it is obvious that if you are committing a crime, like what I mentioned in the first instance where it is called in flagrante delicto, when you're committing a crime, di ibig sabihin, pwede ka rin nilang arestuhin kahit wala silang warrant. Alam namang nakita ka na nila, aantayin mo sila, aantayin ka nila na hanggang sa makakuha ka ng warrant. O dito muna ako, wait lang ako dyan. Wait ko kayo hanggang makakuha kayo ng warrant. Siyempre, kukunin mo na siya, arrestin mo na siya. Kasi nga, warrantless arrest na yun. Kasi continuous crime or continuing crime yung ginagawa niya. Because he is evading his sentence. Okay. Section 5A, most commonly known as in flagrante delicto. There are two requisites, two requisites must concur. Number one, the person to be arrested must execute an overt act. Sabihin, nakita mo, automatic may ginagawa siya, sinaksak niya ba to? Ginagahasan niya ba? There's an action. Meaning, hindi lang to imagination. There should be an overt act coming from the person committing the crime. Actually committing or attempting to commit. Second, such overt act is in the presence or in the view of the arresting officer. Nakita mo personally, hindi sinabi sa'yo o hindi siya kinuwento sa'yo. You are personally witnessing the happening of the crime or the commission of the crime. Para siyang pareho lang, no? Ano pinagkaiba niya dun sa hot pursuit? Sa hot pursuit kasi, ang elements nito is that the arresting officer must have personally witnessed the crime. While dun sa hot pursuit, the arresting officer must have had probable cause. Kumbaga, probable cause lang, baka may posibilidad lang. No? Ulitin ko ulit, sa letter A, dun sa inflagrante, may personal personally witness siya. Siya mismo naka-witness. While sa hot pursuit, probable cause lang, probability lang na baka nga kinumit niya kasi nga nakita niya eh. Tumatakbo, tapos tinahabol. So probably, ito na ngayon nangyayari, no? So that's how you differentiate hot pursuit to flagrante delicto. Number one, or the person in flagrante delicto has personal knowledge or personally witnessed the commission of the crime. While on the other hand, in hot pursuit, personal or probability lang or probable cause to believe that the person committed the crime against another person. My question, how can we say that the police officer had probable cause to believe that the accused committed the crime? Or what even is probable cause in relation to the hot person? Tulad ng binanggit ko noong nakaraan, meron tayong tinatawag na probable executive determination of probable cause in view of the creation of the information, no, done by the prosecution. Binanggit ko na to the last time. And the judicial determination of probable cause, ito naman yung in view of creating the warrant of arrest or search warrant. So, binanggit ko na rin yun. No? It is clear, therefore, that the standard in for determining probable cause is the invariable for the officer arresting without a warrant, the public prosecutor, and the judge issuing a warrant of arrest. It is the existence of such facts and the circumstances that would lead a reasonable, discreet, and prudent person to believe that an offense has been committed by the person sought to be arrested or held for trial, as the case may be. So basically, sinasabi lang dito, naniniwala ka ba na siya talaga yung um, nag-commit ng crime na yan? So, if there is doubt, no, dun sa, kung ikaw mismo hindi ka naniniwala, so maybe mali nga yung ginagawa mo or mali nga yung arrest. Okay. So, brief history of warrantless arrest on account of the hot pursuit. Okay. The organic laws of the Philippines, specifically the Philippine Bill of 1902 and the 1935-1973 and the current constitution protects the right of the people to be secure in their persons against unreasonable search and seizure. So, sabi dito, yung arrest falls under the seizure. So, prior to 1940, the court based in rulings not just an American English common law principle on warrantless arrest, but on laws then existing in the Philippines. So, in the case of Fortaleza, the court cited Rule 28 of the Provisional Law for the application of the Penal Code, which provides judicial and administrative authorities have the power to detain or to cause to be detained person whom there is reasonable ground to believe guilty of some offense. It will be duty of the authorities as well as their agents to arrest. A person coining under the provision of the preceding paragraph may be arrested although no formal complaint has been filed against him, provided that the following circumstances are present. First, the authority of agent had reasonable cause to believe that an unlawful act amounting to a crime had been committed. Second, that the authority or agent had sufficient reason to believe the person arrested participated in the commission of the crime, such unlawful act or crime. In the same decision, the court likewise cited Section 37 after 28 of the Charter of Manila, which provided that certain official, including police officer, may, within the territory defined in the law, pursue the arrest without warrant. Any person found in suspicious places or other suspicious circumstances reasonably tending to show that such person has committed or is about to commit any crime or breach of peace. Based on these decisions, it appears that prior to the 1942 rules, it was not necessary for the arresting officer to first have knowledge that the crime was actually committed. What was necessary was the presence of reasonable sufficient ground to believe that the existence of act having the certain characteristic of a crime, and that the same ground exists to believe that the person sought to be detained participated on it. So, meaning, siya talaga yung gumawa. In addition, it was also established under the old court rulings that the phrase reasonable suspicions, nowadays probable cause. It was tantamount to probable cause, without which the warrantless arrest would be invalid, and the arresting officer will be held liable for its breach. It appears, therefore, that prior to the establishment of the rules of court on warrantless arrest, the gauge for a valid warrantless arrest was the arresting officer's reasonable suspicion or the probable cause that the crime was committed and the person sought to be arrested was participated in its commission. This principle left so much discretion and leeway on the part of the arresting officer. So, well noted that 1940 and 1964 rules have deviated from the old rulings of the court. Prior to the 1940 rules, the actual commission of the crime or the offense was not necessary in determining the validity of warrantless arrest. Also, the arresting officer's determinations of probable cause or the reasonable suspicion applied both as to whether crime has been committed and whether the person to be arrested has committed it. However, 1940 and 1964 rules of court require there should be an actual commission of the offense, thus removing the element of reasonable suspicion of the crime of an offense. So dati, kailangan or hindi kailangan na meron na-commit na crime noong 1940. Pero ngayon, kailangan may makommit muna na crime, no? Hindi pwedeng reasonable suspicion lang. Dapat ngayon, probable cause. Okay? Additionally, the determination of probable cause or reasonable suspicion was limited only to the determination whether the person to be arrested has committed the offense. In other words, 1940 and 1964 restricted the arresting officer's discretion. So, hindi na pwedeng ikaw lang mag-decide. Kaya meron na tayong judicial determination of probable cause, meron na tayong executive determination of probable cause. Hindi na lang ang nag-iisip or nag-decide ay yung law enforcement. Okay? As amended in the Section 5B Rule 113 of 1985 Rules of Court, it retained and introduced under the 1964 of Rules of Court. However, it added the qualification of the commission of the offense should not only be committed but should have been just committed. Ibig sabihin, mainit-init pa as of the moment. This limited the arresting officer's time frame for conducting investigation for purpose of gathering information indicating that the person sought to be arrested has committed the crime. Bakit? Tingin nyo, what is the rationale? Para hindi na natin maabuso. Kasi kapag binigyan natin ng time, nauabuso kasi nagagamit natin sa personal grudges natin, sa personal reasons natin, no? Sa personal interest natin. That is why they try to limit the time frame of conducting the investigation for the purpose of gathering information. Okay? So let's move forward na dun sa element of immediacy or bakit kailangan nagmamadali or bakit kailangan mabilis, no? The clincher in the element of personal knowledge of acts or circumstances is the required element of immediacy within which these facts or circumstances should be gathered. This required time element acts as a safeguard to ensure that the police officer gathered the facts within a very limited time frame. This currently the police officer would have no time to base their probable cause finding on facts or circumstances obtained after an exhaustive investigation. Ibig sabihin, baka makapag-imbento pa kasi. So, kung ano yung makita mo dyan, dapat magawa mo na siya. No? Hindi yung wala ka talaga nakita tapos maghahanap ka lang ng ebidensya para lang ma-convict siya or mabigyan siya ng charge. No? So, kaya ginawa, hindi, kailangan ma-submit mo yun, otherwise pakawalan mo yun. So, ganun yung naging sistema natin ngayon. Simply put, under Section 5B, Rule 113, it is essential that the element of personal knowledge must be coupled with element of immediacy. Dapat may personal knowledge ka tapos dapat at the moment siya. Otherwise, the arrest may be nullified. And resultantly, the items yielded through the search incidental thereto will be rendered inadmissible in consonance with the exclusionary rule of 1987 Constitution. So, to make it practical, let's try the cases or the case of People versus Herente Ibulyo. In this case, the accused and two other cohorts, backs, o ibig sabihin sinuntok nila, o binugbog nila, the descendant to death, hanggang sa mamatay daw, no? Parang yung nangyari dun sa, iba naman yung nangyari dun sa Antipolo na nagkaroon ng bugbugan muna tapos siya rin yung bumaril. So the police officer Orotia who responded to this mauling incident went to the hospital to check on the descendant but was informed that he was dead on arrival. The cause of death was massive fracture of the skull caused by a hard and heavy object. Ibig sabihin, baka pinukpok niya to. This prompted Orosia and two other police officers to go to the place where the mauling incident took place. So pumunta sila dun sa pinangyarihan ng krimen. And there they found a piece of wood with blood stain, hollow block, and marijuana. There, one of the prosecution witnesses pointed to the accused as one of the three men who killed the descendant. Thereafter, the three of police officers went to the house of the accused, who was then sleeping, and told the latter to come out of the house. Accused was traced by one of the officers, and such search resulted in the discovery of dried leaves which turned out to be marijuana. Ibig sabihin, natutulog, o kinapkapan nila, tapos nakakita sila ng marijuana. The time that elapsed from the time the defendant was killed to the apprehension of the accused near 3 hours. 3 hours lang ang lumipas. Nung namatay, pumunta sila sa ospital, pumunta sila dun sa at may nakita silang marijuana. Okay. So the question is the warrantless arrest of the accused valid? The Supreme Court, yes, it is valid. Why? The police officer, Herente, only has 3 hours after Herente and his companion has killed. They saw Blaze dead in the hospital, and when they inspected the scene of the crime, they found the instrument of death, a piece of wood and a concrete hollow block, which the killer had used to kill the decedent. The eyewitness reported the happening to the policeman and pinpointed her neighbor Herente as one of the killers. Under those circumstances, since the policeman had personal knowledge and the element of immediacy is present because it only took 3 hours, they could lawfully arrest Herente without a warrant. If they had postponed it until the warrant, they would have fled. Siyempre, tatakbo na, hindi ka naman niya naantayin. Tulad nga ng binanggit ko, hindi para antayin ka. Okay. Ex mo nga, hindi nakapag-intay eh. Yung pa kayang huhulihin mo. Okay. Another case is the People versus Mingote Ite. Police acting on telephone call from an informer that there were three suspicious looking person at the corner of Juan Luna in Tondo. So they dispatched a surveillance team on the said place, and the team saw two men looking side by side. So one of them was holding something in his abdomen. So they approached this person and identified themselves as policeman. Oh, police ako, patingin nga ng sa ano mo. Pero upon they tried to run away but they were unable to escape because the other lawman is surrounded. So, nung pagtakbo, nakapaligiran naman pala sila or may nakaabang. The suspect were then searched. One of them, who turned to be the accused, was found with a revolver with 6 bullets in the scene. His companion had a knife secreted in his front right pocket. So the question is the arrest of the accused valid? In this case, the Supreme Court said no. Kasi, at the time of the arrest in question, the accused was merely looking from side by side. So, walang probable cause. Dahil lang nagtinginan ba sila, uhulihin mo na sila? Hindi. So, according to the arresting officer, they are just looking side by side. There was apparently no offense that had been committed or was being actually committed, at least attempted by the accused in their presence. Ibig sabihin, it just so happen na may nakuha ka. Pero, wala kang probable cause na gawin yun. No? Kahit pa mali ang ginagawa nila, ang pagkakaroon nila ng loose firearm with the bullet, mali din kasi yung proseso mo. So, dahil mali ang proseso mo, it is violative of their constitutional to against search and seizure. So, therefore, invalid yung inyong RX. Okay? So, when can invalidity of an exit time be raised? Lack of jurisdiction over the person of the accused. As a result, an invalid arrest must be raised through a motion to quash before an accused enters his plea. So, dapat bago siya magsalita ng guilty or not guilty, kasi yun yung enter his plea, dapat masabi mo na pinapawalang bisa ko po ang reklamo dahil ang paghuli po sa akin ay hindi tama o hindi wasto. So, dapat may bigay mo na yun bago ka pa makapag-enter or bago pa siya makapag-enter ng plea kung ikaw yung abogado. Otherwise, the objection is clean way. Kasi kapag hindi ka nakapagsalita, hindi mo na siya pwedeng i-question pa ulit. No? Waive na siya or stop ka na of questioning the legality of your arrest. Nevertheless, to timely object the illegality of an arrest does not preclude an accused from questioning the admissibility of evidence. Halimbawa lang, hindi ka nakapag-object, no? Na, na ano ka nakatulog, for example. Pwede mo pa rin siyang questionin yung evidence niya. The inadmissibility of evidence is not affected when the accused fails to question the court's jurisdiction. Okay? Over his person of time in a timely manner. Jurisdiction over the person of the accused and the constitutional inadmissibility of evidence are separate and mutually exclusive consequence of an illegal. Ibig sabihin, pwede mo pa rin siyang i-question kasi it is a separate and mutually exclusive consequence. Ibig sabihin, pwede mo siyang gamitin ng hiwalay. Okay? May tanong. Any question from the class? If you have question, you may chat it in the GC. I will try to answer it within the day. All the materials were sent to you separately before prior this week. So I suppose that you have read this module now. So in the coming weeks, actually in our face to face, we already touch up na pala the module 10 which includes the plain view. So it's more of the activity pa rin as usual during the face to face. So be in your group pa din and then yun. I think that's it. May I ask also the president or the vice president kung hindi man present si president to take the picture of your class in open camera and send it to me. Okay? So I think this is all for today. Just you can leave the meet 1 hour before our end. Okay? Thank you and enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you.